Hey guys, it's Bryan reporting for Press for Truth. While Dan's away in South Korea, we're down here in Huntsville, Ontario. It's just north of the city of Toronto, and it was the location of the 2010 G8 Summit. We've been invited here for the Film North Huntsville International Film Festival to show our film Into the Fire.
What drove you to the documentary field? What was the kind of driving force and passion to get into it?
To be honest, for me it was kind of accidental. You know, I got into film more to do like fiction type stuff, but especially nowadays with YouTube and just equipment in general has come down in price, and it's a lot easier to make films, and especially the documentary field. So, but as for a lot of the topics, we just kind of stumble into it. We're more passionate about the issues and feel that it's important to cover the topic at the time.
I was covering the G8 here in town, and when I came to town, it was a very polar difference from being in the city. In Toronto, the police were all on edge, and they seemed to, you know, be looking at everybody. If you had a camera and you were filming in the area, you were automatically suspect for some reason that you were going to be doing something bad, and you know, they would be demanding identification from you, cornering you, following you around. In the G8, the police were all very nice. Everyone was really calm. There was never any, you know, threats to, you know, show us your ID or we're going to have you arrested. And then you get down to the city in Toronto, and it's like that all over the place. You have security guards that are demanding identification and being told that they have the same powers as police, but there's not really any way to mitigate that power with them, so they're being issued new responsibilities and being told to check in with the police and all sorts of almost, it was seeming what you would read about the Stasi police in like Eastern Berlin in like the 1950s to the 1970s, you know, the amount of monitoring that was going on and police surveillance vans that were traveling around, and even their snatch and grab operations of pulling up in a van and throwing people in a van and taking off. It reminded me of seeing images of the juntas in Chile. With all the new advances in technology like iPhones and iPads, I mean, you can film stuff in HD now, and you can have it in your pocket like little solid-state HD recorders. I mean, cameras are everywhere these days, and you know, if you're interested in making documentaries, you know, the medium's not as much important anymore as it is the message. I mean, you could film an entire documentary on like your cell phone and have it win, you know, awards or get recognition, because it's more about the message that you're conveying.
We had a launch 3 years ago just to test the waters. We screened manufactured landscapes, and we had a full audience that evening. Then going on the success of that, we decided that we would go forward and have our inaugural year, which was last year, 2010, and we are now halfway through our second year, Film North 2.
And what was the driving force behind wanting to start this festival?
Well, we thought that we would create another rung on the ladder of opportunity for emerging independent filmmakers. And that really is what planted the seed. And then we also wanted to create another venue that was user-friendly, to show films in an environment where film goers could rub elbows with the industry. And I think that we've pretty much accomplished that here in Huntsville. We encourage industry to attend. This year we're screening 36 films, and we have 36 industry guests this year.
We had intended not to really make a film out of this. This was just something that we were going to cover. We put a lot of videos out on YouTube of similar issues, and had leading up to the G20, had put out videos, you know, showing what was happening in the city, just with the fences going up, surveillance cameras, etc. But obviously, after filming that weekend, came back with just hours and hours worth of footage and realized that we did have a film. There was kind of an arc that we could follow, and started editing away, and 9 months later, this is kind of what came out of it. Personally, I mean, it still lives with us, obviously. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but it is, it's something that, you know, we live in the city, and to see that there, it was absolutely surreal. Maybe Bryan.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my father and mother are both here. They watched the film. My father's a retired police officer of 33 years, so I'd grown up around police, and that was kind of the first experience for me of, like one of the people we interviewed saying, you know, that was the first time they've really been afraid of the police. We don't want to have to, you know, be against or fight the police. You want them to be there to protect you, and so it's kind of, it was a weird paradigm shift for me, you know, for my first experience on the street. That, and I think, you know, speaking for a lot of people that we've interviewed, it really affected their trust in the police and the justice system, because a lot of these laws that were implemented for the G20, they're not repealed, they still exist today. So what you saw there is a taste of possibly things to come, unless they change the laws and put in things to protect people from this ever happening again. It could easily happen again. They've still got all of the same technologies, all of the same gear, and I mean, to me, it was like a $1 billion training drill.
How do you feel about recent legislation in certain jurisdictions that prohibit the filming of police officers? Are you aware of that in certain jurisdictions? And how will that affect the
Is that municipal or provincial?
Well, there are certain jurisdictions, and it's a move that seems to be propagating from jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
In the U.S., they've got a lot of states now are trying to pass this and trying to, you know, tie it into like an espionage kind of thing, like you're spying on them. It has to have mutual consent. But as it stands right now in Ontario, as far as I know, is that if you're in a public place, there is no guarantee of your privacy. So therefore, they can film us just as much as we can film them. So we're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, I find that to be an interesting hypocrisy as they set up more video cameras and CCTV cameras. I mean, there's even one just outside of the Civic Center here up on a light pole. We see it happening in Vancouver after the riots. The solution is now to put, you know, more police personnel on the streets, more military on the streets, and video cameras everywhere. And it seems kind of hypocritical to say, you know, that we want to set up this Big Brother system to monitor you, but it would be illegal for you to film public servants who are paid for with tax dollars. So we're down here at the Deerhurst Resort, which was the site of the G8 Summit in 2010. We couldn't really get this far when we were doing our coverage on the day because there were blockades with military and the OPP blocking off all access to this particular resort. Part of the G8 scandal that's still unraveling today is the G8 Legacy Fund, which is tens of millions of dollars that was funneled into the G8 funding. It was supposed to go to building up stuff around the G8, but it ended up getting dispersed all over areas of Ontario that were outside of the G8 summit zone, sometimes up to 100 kilometers away from the actual summit itself. So there's still some controversy unraveling about the illegal transferring of funds or the illegal misappropriation of funds and taxpayer dollars. Hey guys, this is Bryan Law and
Davies.
And we're just about to leave the Huntsville International Film Festival, but we just wanted to bring one more important update. Was that last night, totally unexpected for us, we went to the awards ceremony and ended up being awarded the Best Documentary Award, which didn't exist until last night. So they created a new category for us, and yeah, Steve can show you kind of what the award's going to look like.
Something like this, just a little bigger and doesn't float.
Yeah.
Like this keychain does. But I guess they're sending it to us in the mail after they engrave our names and everything like that on it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It was totally unexpected, and honestly, it is an honor because it was a good film festival, and we actually shared the award with another great doc from Toronto as well. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. So thanks very much to the Huntsville International Film Festival, and hopefully we'll be seeing them again in the future with other films.